What's up, y'all? Terrell Friday here with FutureDDS.
Tyler Brown here with FutureDDS.
And today we're here with a special guest, our friend classmate.
How's it going, guys?
Aiden Moyat. So, we're here specifically to talk about research in dental school. We know a lot of people are interested in research, as well as, once you get into dental school in that professional field, a lot of people take up research if they aren't interested in it already. So, we want to get a little bit more perspective, just pick his brain a little bit about the topic.
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Good to see you.
How you guys been?
Doing good.
Can't
surviving these exams?
Yeah, doing our best.
We have a crazy test block coming up, so thank you, Aiden, for coming out and giving us some of your time, because we know you're busy.
You guys having?
No problem. So, Aiden, let's go ahead and introduce you to the audience. Can you kind of tell them who you are, where you're from, where you went to undergrad, your master's program, and kind of like what got you interested in dentistry?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I'm originally from the state of Texas. Moved here when I was 10 years old. Went to UT Dallas for my undergrad. Started off as a biology major, switched to neuroscience halfway through it. Graduated in 2014, and then I started my master's at the University of Houston, and I got my master's in biomedical sciences. And here we are now, second year of dental school with these two.
Right. And so what got you interested in dentistry?
So I initially started out on a medicine route. I wanted to be an MD. And then through shadowing and observing and working at a cardiologist's office, I realized that dentistry was a lot more hands-on. I was really into art in my younger years, was really interested in that, and I saw the art aspect in dentistry, and I also love surgery, absolutely love surgery. It's something that I've been passionate about since the age of 12. So I saw dentistry being more hands-on, having to do more with surgical aspects, and so I transitioned from medicine to dentistry, and then I also had family members who were all dentists, which inspired me to want to pursue this route even more.
Okay.
So Aiden, a lot of people do research throughout their year, college experience and everything. Did you actually do research in undergrad and in your master's, and how was that experience, and what did you kind of do?
Yeah, so I actually did do research in my undergrad in a neuroscience lab between my junior and senior year, and that was mainly to get me more competitive to get into dental school. But at the same time, I had a very passionate interest in neuroscience, so I wanted to dive into that and see if I was actually interested in research. To tell you the truth, all I did was data analysis, so I didn't really get the full feel for what research was like. But when I got to my master's, I had the opportunity to do research at UT Medical School. I did research on the rickettsia bacteria and Rocky Mountain fever, so I had great mentors, and I got a chance to learn and be able to do more in the lab setting, which really helped a lot and grew my passion for research a bit more.
Okay, and so you got into school, now we're here in dental school. What made you, was it your passion that kind of like pushed you to continue doing research? Because we have an extremely rigorous schedule. Like what made you say, you know what, even with everything else I have going on, I still want to pursue this research?
Right, so, I thought dental school was too easy, so I figured I'd add on research to make it a little more. I'm just kidding. So the reason I did research is I talked to some upperclassmen, and I am interested in pursuing oral surgery after I graduate dental school. So you have to be a complete applicant, just like dental school. So I decided to pursue research in dental school to become a more competitive applicant for the oral surgery program. But at the same time, I wanted to be more knowledgeable on various aspects of oral surgery, the surgeries being done. So, so I could learn whether or not I was truly passionate for the career choice I was beginning to chase after.
So I guess what's the scope of your research in dental school? Is it like more lab work, how it was in your master's, or was it more data analysis, preliminary research like it was more so for your undergrad? How is it here?
Right. So Undergrad, like I said, it was just data analysis. I had someone basically holding my hand, walking me through it. In my master's, I had a little bit more freedom and I had to be more independent and learn how to do things by myself. In dental school, since you're a professional student and you're going to be a future doctor, they expect you to be independent and be able to do things on your own without their help.
Right.
So in terms of the level of intensity, the research at dental school is much harder because my faculty advisor expects me to be able to put the time outside of class setting and projects to work on these things. She's not there to hold my hand along the way or help me out. She's only there to give me advice or point me towards the right direction. So it's a bit more difficult and it's a bit more time consuming.
Okay.
And so you said that you were considering specializing.
Right.
A lot of people always hear that if you want to specialize, you have to do research. So do you think it's an absolute must? I know you said you thought it was recommended, but do you have to do it?
Or maybe not you because you're not there yet, but from what you've heard from other people maybe in this specialty.
So no, I don't think you have to do research to specialize. I think specializing first and foremost comes down to how well you do in school, and in my case, going for oral surgery, how well you do in the CBSE exam. But for any other specialty, there's other qualifications that they look for. Just like getting into dental school, doing research is something that will help you stand out. It's a talking point, and it shows the programs that you are truly passionate about it. But no, to say that you need to do research to be able to specialize, no, there's no need for it. It's something that you want to do because you're passionate about it that will also help you along the way.
So like supplements.
Yeah, supplemental, and you shouldn't always have to do research to get to the next step,
Right.
or to do it just to check off a box. I think the best way to go about research is to do it because you're passionate about it, because there's something that hasn't been researched on and you want to look more in depth into. I think that's why you should do research. I think if you get into it wanting to do it for specialty or just to check off a box, you're not going to enjoy it and you're not going to be able to give your all to the whole project.
You spoke a little bit about how intense it can be in the lab, having to pick up a lot more responsibilities in dental school or professional school versus undergrad or your master's. But how does it really work out time-wise, per week or maybe per month with you doing research, working with your classes and everything?
Right. So typically research is case to case. Someone's research project might be less time consuming than the others. For me, I'm doing my research on orthognathic surgery and its effects on TMJ pain. So, initially you have to write an abstract and have that get approved by IRB and then read by faculty as well to make sure that it's a relevant study, what you're doing. So that took me about 12 hours altogether to put together and write. Once the abstract is done, then you start the research. So for my project, I have to do a lot of data analysis. I have to go back into the resident's book and look at the surgeries from 2013 on to now and see what surgeries were specific to what I'm looking for. So that aspect of data analysis is always time consuming and you have to put a good amount of time. So we do, as you guys know, we have class from 9 to 5 every day, and above that you have to study. And on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, you probably have to put at least 4 to 6 hours into your research project if you want that research project to be good and strong enough to be able to present at various conferences across the nation. So it depends on how far you want your project to go. So the time commitment you put towards it is going to determine how well the project will be. But it is a tough balance to be able to do research and be able to go through a rigorous program such as dental school.
Right.
So it's a commitment that you have to be ready for and be willing to sacrifice some of your free time for to be able to accomplish.
I mean, you're sacrificing time in the gym, time with your friends, a whole bunch of different things. So I think for anybody who's gonna consider research, just really make sure that it's a high priority. And like Aiden said earlier, don't just do it to check off a box. You know, you
Right.
definitely have to be passionate about it.
Absolutely.
So, say for someone who isn't necessarily in love with, let's say, microbiome. You know, whenever I hear research, I think of bacterium or things like this. Yeah, lab, right? Doing titrations and things like that. Is there a lane for them to still do research?
Yeah, absolutely. You can do research in anything these days. You know, public health. There's a big research in public health. You know, there's research in social health. You know, we have people doing research on biomaterial in dental school, on, you know, what veneer will last the longest. So you don't necessarily have to, you know, do the typical research, which is bacteria or viruses. For example, I'm doing research on a surgery, you know. So there's various areas that you can do research on, and at the end of the day, like I said, it comes down to what you're interested in. If there's something that you have questions about or you want to know more about, you know, that's an area you can go into and do research on. I had questions about oral surgery. I wanted to know more about a specific surgery case, and I met up with a faculty who took me in, and I'm thankful for that. And I've been able to do that. So, you know, you don't have to be some science genius sitting in a lab putting chemicals together to have that, to have that considered, you know, research.
So, Aiden, you had mentioned that, you know, you're appreciative of the faculty actually letting you come onto their research project. So we wanted to ask, how does that whole process go about? Do you kind of look at a list of all the faculty and all their projects, and then you just approach them? Do you have to email them? Do you have to submit a proposal to them? How does that work in order to become part of their project team?
Right, so finding a mentor that you can do a project with is kind of like going through a dating app. So you look at their bio, look at what the projects they're doing, you know, you go to these dinners where, you know, all the faculty that are doing research are there, and you talk to them, and, you know, through reading their, you know, what they're working on, you find what sparks an interest with you, and, you know, then you email them, you meet up with them, you talk to them, and if they're interested in taking you on and they see that you're committed enough to doing so, they will take you under their wings and help you do research. So, yeah, the beauty of, you know, dental school or any other professional school is that the faculty are, you know, very open to helping you succeed and get further in your education, especially if you are interested in being better and doing better. You know, that's something that they look at, and they're happy to guide you through that process.
Gotcha. So is there any outlet for, you know, say for instance a student comes to them, they have a new novel idea, something that they want to start research on? Is there like kind of a process for that? Do you know? I mean, I'm not sure. I know you kind of jumped onto a project, but could you kind of start your own project if you wanted?
So I actually didn't jump on a project.
Oh, you started yours on?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I met up with the faculty in the oral surgery department, and I talked to them about how, you know, how I'm interested in that area of dentistry. And then we spoke, we talked about various aspects of oral surgery, and then we came to a consensus on what I wanted to start on. And that's where, you know, my project started. It wasn't a project that I jumped on, that was ongoing. It was a project that was started with me.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you can jump on a project, you know, especially the lab projects that, you know, especially with biomaterials, you're usually jumping into those. But this specific project, since it has to do with data analysis, it's something that wasn't ongoing. Like I said, you know, research, there's various ways to do research, so mine just happens to be data analysis, but, you know, there's certain research like the one that I did in my master's that had been ongoing for about 3-4 years. So, you know, there's various ways to go about it.
So we're coming to the end of the interview. We kind of want you just to give the audience just some, like, a few golden nuggets about research in general. Like, if you had a mentee coming into dental school, what would you tell them in regards to research in dental school?
I would tell you to take your time. before you start a research project.
Okay.
Really do the research on what you want to do. Find a faculty that you want to work with, and find something that you're passionate about. Don't get into research because you think it's a box that you need to check off for, a specialty, because more often than not, that's not going to be the main reason you get in. Find something you're passionate about, find something that you'd enjoy working on. That way when your free time is taken away, you're still doing something that will benefit you in the long term. So that's the advice I would give, to anyone that wants to do research. More often than not, I see a lot of students just chasing the check box, and that's a huge mistake, because what ends up happening is you don't enjoy the research you're doing, and you end up giving a half effort and you get half results. So find a faculty that you get along with, find a faculty that you will enjoy working with, and take your time. And that's basically what I would say.
Great. Well, thank you, Aiden, once again. On behalf of FutureDDS and all of our audience, we know you're extremely busy being a dental student. So the fact that you took the time out to come and talk to us today and help our audience is great. So really, we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is great stuff.
No problem at all. No problem at all. If any of our audience have any questions for you, is there a way they can reach out?
Yeah, so you can either reach out to me via email, or even reaching out to me on Instagram. Is fine too. My Instagram is AMOAYYED9. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out obviously through FutureDDS and send me an email, and they'll connect you to me that way. But like I said, and like what these guys are doing is great. We all went through this whole process of dental school, trying to get in. So I'm always a helping hand. I want to help out as many people as possible who are going through this process and guide you. So don't be afraid to reach out. If you have any questions, I'll happily answer them for you.
All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If you have any questions, of course, can hit up Aiden himself, or you can add it down to the comments. We'll get them to him. Other than that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you know whenever we post some new content. And make sure you hit that like button. Smash the like button. We'll keep bringing you very good content, of course, to help you all. That's going to be it. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.